Namaskar. I am Shantanu Sen, a member of the faculty at OmDayal College of Architecture. On behalf of my college, I welcome you all to our annual celebrations, Architect of the Times. We fondly call it AOTT. This has been an extremely difficult period for one and all at every corner of the world. For more than 15-16 months, our movements have been restricted severely. The risk of contamination still looms large. Many of us have still suffered, and there's been no tangible sign of any respite anywhere. For an inordinately long time span, we have not met our students. Painful it has been, yet just for the sake of life, we have stayed connected through the internet and put in all efforts to adapt to imparting architectural education from a distance, a difficult task indeed. Along the way, we realized that the ways of the world we knew has suddenly changed for all of us. About AOTT, it's an annual event when we, along with our students, get the wonderful opportunity of interacting with many. On an occasion to hold seminars, exhibitions, workshops, product displays in the company of students of other colleges and schools, friends and well-wishers from the architects fraternity and allied trades. That was, however, not to be in 2020. We were dejected, disappointed, but did not give up. 2021, we are back with AOTT once again, with the same zest and same passion, through online sessions this time. It all began about a month ago with a webinar series by our fourth-year students, appreciated by friends and well-wishers across the globe. Today, we move on to the second part of AOTT 2021 with an exhibition series of students' works. Exhibits today will be on graphics, taught over the first 2 years of the curriculum. Use of diagrams in designs and compositions is perhaps the most uncomplicated manner of explaining graphics. But to comprehend the true expanse of the term, we need to relentlessly observe our surroundings, what is happening all around us, the endless streams of all elements, patterns, and compositions of shapes and colors, light and shadows, and the likes contributing to make this planet so beautiful. A very basic step towards learning methods of architectural design, therefore, is getting a profound concept of compositions and patterns. Also, understanding the respective value of all probable components, major or minor. This is all that our students of first year and second year will exhibit today. Last but not the least, after the online exhibition, there will be a brief session of cultural performances, all by our students, a wonderful online effort by the architects of times to come. Thank you and best wishes. Over to you, students.
A curious mind often thinks how fundamental shapes give rise to complex structures and how design principles helps to curate the thoughts. Thus began our exploration of fundamental shapes and patterns, which eventually taught us how combining shapes and how composing them using design principles and color theories can tell a whole new story. Literally no proper spatial design can be done without the study of human anthropometry, which deals with the body dimensions of a human. Anthropometrical studies are important to make proper decisions about any sorts of space planning. For any architecture student, having a clear idea of measurements and eye estimations for building study or creation is a big skill that needs to be learned and developed over time, and it's a skill we learn from a very early phase of our student life. Thus, for a head start, we pursued a measure drawing of our own residential space to gain references for the estimation skills and also some idea about architectural standards. One can never neglect the job their ones do so that we can get a good night's sleep. For that, they deserve a proper living quarter too, which will contain all the necessary supplies he might need during his stay. The challenge was to design one such space for two darwans, one for each, and thus we designed a solution for that. Be it an office employee late for his work or a student waiting for a bus to travel to some distant school, bus shelters are a necessity which provides us the shade and facility to wait till the bus arrives. Yet the bus shelters in major localities lack even the minimum requirements and features to make it usable. The challenge was to create a bus shelter to replace all the bus shelters in our city and as a replacement add all sorts of functionalities that are necessary for the waiting moments. Architecture students are often trained to render out buildings and drawings for better understanding of materials, textures, and colors, and it is a big part of not only our architectural practice but also art. Mediums like watercolor, pen rendering, pencil strokes, and shading are some of the basic practices that we curate during our initial years of college. We had made quite a lot of renders, among which the best ones are The Falling Water by architect F.L. Wright, in which we made use of all the three mediums mentioned above. Perhaps the favorite pastime for any architecture student would be to make use of free time as artists and sketch out whatever comes in mind. Even a few strokes of pen lines or a slide of brush would create something completely extraordinary. Be it architectural sketches or casual sketches, every piece of art carries equal importance in polishing our skills. As architecture students, our leisure times are never wasted unproductively. We leave our creative marks on everything we experiment on. Just a few pens, paints, and a few other supplies, or even a cloth, can also get us started to create a marvelous artwork, or perhaps even a tabletop doodle. Every two-dimensional object has its coordinates located in the xy plane, which eventually gets us an idea of levels from the y-axis and the idea of wideness from the x-axis. So it's important to understand how architecture can relate to basic analytical geometry. To know that, we created geometric patterns, and from the elevations figure out how the axes relate with one another. Every time we travel from one spot to another, we pass through some transition space, a path that we follow even if it's a natural stroll through the woods. It sometimes tells a story, it sometimes creates a sense of suspense and leaves us anxious about the thing we might encounter at the end. To ease our thoughts and give us some hint about what we might expect at the end of the journey, a pathway must be well designed. Thus began our exploration of the game of thoughts and experiences, which led us to design pathways on various conceptual ideas and iterations. We perceive the world in 3 dimensions. We learn how 2D graphics can take shape 3-dimensionally and open the doors of infinite possibilities of structural inspirations. To understand how shapes relate to one another, drop different kinds of shadows on the ground, create positive and negative spaces among them, make each other structurally stable. We composed shapes in different formats and played with their materiality to know about their properties. The exploration continues even today. Every great architect of the past has left the signature works for us to experience, learn, and get inspired. Their use of architectural elements, precise detailed works have enthralled the architects and architecture students of the present. As a part of our practice of acknowledging the unique details and elements used by each architect, each one of us had studied one architect and their creative works to understand their philosophies, ideation, and more. To name some architects, the list goes as follows: Zaha Hadid, Louis Kahn, Charles Correa, B.V. Doshi, Louis Barragan, Philip Johnson, Daniel Libeskind, Gustave Eiffel, Shigeru Ban, Anna Heringer, Moshi Sathvier, Franco Gehry, Tadao Ando, and Frank Lloyd Wright. As a result of which, each one of us created a miniature model, an enclosure containing all such elements unique to that architect, to express that architect's perspective of architecture. In order to travel from one floor to another or from one level to another, a staircase is a must for any building or landscape, be it a hospital, hotel, residential unit or parks. There are quite a lot of types when it comes to staircases, and understanding the ratios of treads, risers, width, materials, structural components and stability are key points when it comes to staircase design. Staircases, being a very prominent feature of a building, are often designed in various forms or shapes, keeping the standards same. To explore the various parameters of staircase design, we created models of various kinds of staircases and tried to relate aesthetics, function and stability of the entire structure. Architectural graphics play a huge role in an architect's life, be it technical drawings or orthographic projections. The skill of neat and detailed drawing is something we learn in graphics. We learn the importance of line weights and how they are used to make sense in technical drawings and their detailing. Not just for hand drafting in sheets, even drafting softwares like CAD and BIM require a steady skill of graphics. We explored how solids can be interpenetrated into one another by using surface development, how it can impact the form of development of a building or create references for joineries. We also explored how elevations can be drawn in reference to the plan that we make, how sections can be cut out from a building. In total, graphics create a backbone for our design works and play an important role in the design development. Modern technologies have made it easier for us to draft, create elevations, and do all sorts of detailed work by the use of computer applications such as BIM, CAD, and other 3D modeling softwares. Not just for architecture, but these softwares are being used in other industries as well. Softwares push our boundaries when it comes to intricate detailing, which sometimes manual drafting fails to do. Model making becomes easier and hassle-free. Thus, we tried out our skills to work on furniture designs, interiors, and exterior designing of buildings using softwares like SketchUp and CAD, and gave it life using 3D rendering softwares like V-Ray and 3D simulation softwares like Lumion. This particular subject focused on creating a deep understanding about architecture and design from a theoretical perspective. This course helped the fourth year students to develop a strong design vocabulary as to how and by what means the design is to be communicated, thereby understanding the philosophy and the undercurrents of the design process. Reviewing different design principles and methods and critically incorporating these methods to various design exercises such as Shilpoghar, Arc Mela and Fair, Treehouse and Museum influenced the students to adopt different design methods for given set of situations and design problems.
A very good afternoon everyone and welcome back to AOTT 2021. I am Abhirupa Sen and I will be your host for today. To give a brief introduction, AOTT or Architect of the Times is an annual fest organized by OmDayal College of Architecture. It comprises of academic seminars, exhibitions and cultural programs organized by the students under the guidance and participation of our professors. Now, sadly, due to the ongoing pandemic, we had to cancel this annual celebration in 2020, where normally we would have invited students from other colleges and professionals from the field of architecture to come and join us and share with us their knowledge. But unlike last year, we decided to come back and keep this annual tradition alive on an online platform in the form of a webinar. So without further ado, let's begin. Not gonna lie, it was tough arranging everything together and I really hope you enjoy our hard work. Today marks the first day of the cultural programs of AOTT, so let's inaugurate it with a recitation of Chitto Jetha Bhoy Shunno done by Ghosh from first year. A powerful poem by Rabindranath Tagore which was relevant during India's war for independence and I believe can still be used to raise our morals as we continue to fight against this virus.
প্রার্থনা কবিগুরু রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুর। চিত্ত যেথা ভয় শূন্য উচ্চ যেথা শির, জ্ঞান যেথা মুক্ত যেথা গৃহের প্রাচীর, আপন প্রাঙ্গণ তলে দিবস সর্বরি, বসুধারে রাখে নাই খণ্ড ক্ষুদ্র করি। যেথা বাক্য হৃদয়ের উৎস মুখ হতে উচ্ছ্বসিয়া ওঠে, যেথা নির্বারিত স্রোতে দেশে দেশে দিশে দিশে কর্মধারা ধায়, অজস্র সহস্রবিধ চরিতার্থতায়। যেথা তুচ্ছ আচারের মরুবালু রাশি, বিচারের স্রোতপথ ফেলে নাই গ্রাসী, পৌরুষেরে কর্ণী শতধা নিত্য যেথা, তুমি সর্বকর্ম চিন্তা আনন্দের নেতা। নিজ হস্তে নির্দয় আঘাত করিপিত, ভারতে সেই স্বর্গে করজাগরিত।
What a wonderful recitation that was. So let us now continue to our next performance by Pratiksha Mandal from first year who will be dancing to a modern folk song.
बहु मनोरथी साजू अभिसारे पहलू सुनील बेस, काजर नयने सलाज बयाने कुसुमे सजानु केस, सखी हम मोहन अभिसारे जान, बोलो हम एतक सुख कहाँ पाऊं। सखी चिरा भागिनी हम बैठे काकिनी पोहानु रजनी तबु नाइलो श्याम सखी चिरा भागिनी हम कृष्ण कजल पिघल सजल नयन निरधारे कठिन पथ वृथ मनोरथ विफल अभिसारे सखी हम कबहु न अभिसारे दुखला एतक सहन नहीं पाऊं।
That was wonderfully done. Now, the upcoming performance will be done by Khushi Sharma from first year, who will be singing Moh Moh Ke Dhaage.
मोह मोह के धागे मोह मोह के
What a beautiful voice she has. Now to the last but definitely not the least performance. Let's end today on a powerful note and welcome Armisha Das from first year, who will be performing a Tandav dance.
जलज्जल प्रवाह पावितस्थले कलेवलम्ब्य लम्बितां भुजङ्गतुङ्गमालिकान्तमड्डमड्डमड्डमन्निनादवड्डमर्वयं चकार चण्डताण्डवं तनोतु नः शिव शिवम् जटाकटाह सम्भ्रम भ्रम निलिम्ब निर्झरी विलोल वीचि वल्लरी विराजमान मूर्धनि धगद्धगद्धगज्ज्वलल्ललाट पट्ट पावके किशोर चन्द्रशेखरे रति प्रतिक्षणम् मम जटाभुजंग पिंगल स्फुरत् स्वनामणि प्रभा कदम्ब कुङ्कुमद्रव प्रलिप्त दिग्वधूमुखे मदान्ध सिन्धुरस्फुरत्वगुत्तरीय मेधुरे मनो विनोदमद्भुतं बिभर्तु भूत भर्तरि ॐ नमः शिवाय सदा शिवं भजाम्यहं सदा शिवं भजाम्यहम् ॐ नमः शिवाय प्रफुल्लनीलपङ्कज प्रपञ्चकालिमप्रभावलम्बिकण्ठकन्दली रुचिप्रबद्धकन्धरं स्मरच्छिदं पुरच्छिदं भवच्छिदं मखच्छिदं गजच्छिदान्धकच्छिदं तमन्तकच्छिदं भजे अखर्व सर्वमङ्गलाकलाकदम्ब मञ्जरी रसप्रवाह माधुरी विजृम्भणा मधुव्रतं स्मरान्तकं पुरान्तकं भवान्तकं मखान्तकं गजान्तकान्धकान्तकं तमन्तकान्तकं भजे इदं हि नित्यमेव मुक्तमुत्तमोत्तमं स्तवं पठन् स्मरन् ब्रुवन्नरो विशुद्धिमेति सन्ततं हरे गुरौ सुभक्तिमाशु याति नान्यथा गतिं विमोहनं हि देहिनां सुशङ्करस्य विमोहनं हि देहिनां सुशङ्करस्य विमोहनं हि देहिनां सुशङ्करस्य
That was a beautiful act. With that, it brings us to the end of day one of AOTT's cultural events. I really hoped you enjoyed these few minutes. A big thank you to everyone watching. We will be back again with the next segment of the cultural programs tomorrow and hope to see you then too. Thank you and bye-bye.